Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining Archangel Alts. Trading with you live without a net. And if your name is Annette, you can join us too. Woohoo! So had to come in here because of the crazy pump that is currently taking place on RCN. Now, you can see just the last tail of it is starting to look similar to the up that we see in Bitcoin, but no, they are not anything to be compared with. It's about 222 Bitcoins that have been traded just in the past 15 minutes. From a coin that was down here in the 600s not too long ago. So this incredibly risky, but it's just taking off right now. Have not decided if I'm going to try to get in that high. Meanwhile, really excited about ONT is starting to make its upward rise again. So I'm kind of sort of just watching that one. It's always retrospect is a lot easier to make decisions on, once the tough decisions have already come and gone. But in the midst of things, very exciting. So IOST, my goodness, you have found your way to the top, have you not? We were watching it back in the 187 to 189 range, and boy, it has just come into its own. The different spikes that are happening are quite interesting, which ones are taking place. We've already cleared all of our fuel positions at profit on our client account here that you see here, and we have some pretty high ones that we have set for longer term for our browser as we went in and adjusted things. We've already cleared all of our DNT here, and same story, I think we have some higher ones that we're looking to clear in the browser. So slightly different strategies for two different things that we started at two different times, and just kind of interesting to see how everything we learn, we apply to everything that we've already learned. And we continue to grow both of the accounts kind of towards the same goals over not a very, it's just interesting to see how we've been able to be very aggressive in one place and safe but aggressive in the other, and apply both of those processes to where they're working to our advantage. So very, very cool. I've got some of our earnings set aside into BNB coin at a fairly low position. If it did actually go down there, it would be about 10th or 15th of its value. So it would actually be a bad thing for BNB if we actually did cash in. But I basically just like putting it there as a placeholder. It's easy to get to and cash out if I needed it for a rainy day. But as we're growing, I'm only using a section of our main circulation, using much more than actually the rule of fifths allows for, because we're getting very aggressive about our growth. So need to practice what I preach, but if we were running at about an 85, 87, 88% accuracy, then I would need to apply the entire rule of fifths. So we would probably be at like a $500 trade now, just to spread it out over hundreds of trades. Looking at that. So RCN is up. It's adding a Bitcoin every few seconds to the trading volume. Pretty big deal there. Pretty big. 77778. So you'll see the link in these descriptions. We're kind of streamlining everything now that we've gotten through our soft launch, and we're phase 2-ish in things. Now we're really looking to get serious about adding subscribers who are serious about their own growth and their own wealth, and not watering things down about, does this work, does it not work? We know it does. And, the only question in our mind when we got to the launch was whether I could concentrate on the process the exact same way that I'm used to doing it, in 17-hour days of isolation, just, hardwired to focus. So, hyper focused on the bullseye, I guess is the best way to put it, to try to turn this into any kind of social interaction while doing the same thing. We kind of agreed that, I was reluctant to, share this, on such a wide platform, because what we're doing, we don't intentionally overuse words like unprecedented, but there isn't anybody working at this accuracy level. So, just it's a big deal to be sharing this with the world. And, my concern was, just can you concentrate with something that takes this much focus and be able to discuss it with people at the same time? And, not about whether it'd be interesting, not about whether people would catch on, the right people are going to catch on. And honestly, at a certain point in time, we kind of reach a place where we don't really care because the growth is happening so incredibly quickly at this point. It's doing exactly what the hockey stick says that it's going to do. If you're not sure what that is, then put in Google exponential growth hockey stick and you'll see what we're talking about. We're getting into that actual visual part of it now, which means that the toughest part of our 15-month journey is done. The test and retest and try things on a very small scale. We've gotten through that part. The only, you really can't have regrets. We've learned, what we were meant to learn along the way. But, hindsight 2020, trust yourself when you see that you've tested it and it's working. It's time to scale. This is not one of those games that you wait around for more and more and more and more and more confirmations. Risk is risk. And, there's absolutely risk involved. We've had to, kind of mentally set the restart button several different times when we've learned things that work and things that don't work. But, our very first run of trades, going from paper trading to actually trading, our first 1,170 trades were all profit. And so we learned very on how to structure the fees, how to build a process around that. And it's working. And today it's working. We have started at an initial trade of only $20 in Bitcoin world, meaning 0.002. I don't care what the actual cash value of Bitcoin is once we lock into those units. You have the mindset that, we've entered the world of Bitcoin and we're not leaving until we come out. So, the only question is what are the assets that we're going to trade against, from Bitcoin to other markets. And let's see, just kind of test these out, see what they're doing here. Even though the volume's a little bit low, SNT never just really, it's always just a little bit off from the model that I like the most, but I see a potential here. While we're waiting out to see just how crazy high RCN is going to go, is just, guys, I know how tough it is. You want to just jump right in. And a lot of people are thinking exactly that way right up until the very second that they're not. And this is a model for a different kind of pump that I'm seeing. That I don't think that this one is that shift in the tsunami type thing. I think this is an actual pump. But the next couple of moves, it may just go off the charts. It may cross the 1,000, going from this into a new digit. It's very possible. But it's also very possible that it reaches a certain target. Let's say the target is 900 or something along those lines, and then it's sell. And if that's the case, then people like you and I that bought in will be stuck at the very top and have to choose to take our losses. And since we are choosing a model where we only HODL instead of taking losses, we try to avoid losses at all cost. And, so we're staying at an accuracy that can support that model. So mainly here, just, usually these don't happen as an isolated instance. So, my goodness, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, okay, we're now at double volume, sitting down here all lonely, wondering where all of his friends are, and now the volume is just picking up like crazy. So, I love absolute liquidity. I hope you guys are seeing this. It's a sight to see for sure. So this is kind of what it was like before. You know what? I have this weird feeling. I'm gonna go with it because let's see what other things are in that same kind of volume range that are also near that value range. VIB as in boy. MTH. Okay. XVG is a little bit on the low side as far as the volume and value. Yeah, I have this weird feeling we're going to see more spikes in a little bit. This kind of has the makings of that kind of thing. So, not sure if you're going to pick up here or not. I'm going to keep my eye on SNT, not forget that we're considering that. Yeah, SNT is usually just outside of the range of what makes for a good position according to my model. I'm all for ones that are 4 units and even 5 units if they're having this kind of movement. But when it's just regular, plain old, waiting for hours for the right position to appear, yeah, it's going to break 900 now. So are they going to sell off right before it gets to there or right at 900? You can see right here, there's 4 Bitcoins at 900 to sell. So here we go. Here's the buy-in. Boom, 900. Now it's going to accelerate. Okay, so they're going for 1,000. Oh, it is so tempting to go in. And then, if you get burned, you're like, how did I fall for that? I went right in at the top. Buy low, sell high, except for when you do exactly the opposite. OMG, goodness. What am I going to do now? So, let's see, 609. I'm still testing whether there's any movement happening over here or not. Not going to go in on our RCN going up that crazy that fast. It's just a little bit too risky. It is so incredibly very tempting. It's probably going to do 100%, maybe even a 200%. But the word that you need to pay the most attention to in that sentence is probably, which, by the way, I am not your financial advisor. You can take our advice, not take our advice. We have a 98.7% accuracy over 15 months. We have done 100% of our initial trade size 1,000 times now. And we started at the very smallest, according to our own model, and grew and grew and grew, grew and grew and grew. If we look at the number of times that has exponentially grown, and I'm going to let this run here in the background while we're watching together. Okay, there's a peak. So it hit 930, and now it's coming down. So the next one is likely going to be ARG. I mean, this is probably set to go to 1,000. This is not natural movement. This is somebody's planned, targeted plan. So, it's doing what somebody has decided they're going to do. So they're counting on you to put your money in. So we do not have a certified professional champion golden plaque on the wall that says that we are experts in crypto. There is no such thing yet. They're really smart people in blockchain and in the field and doing stable coins and gold-backed coins and all sorts of interesting stuff. And so these will be the experts as they are perceived tomorrow. But right now, understand, this is for educational purposes only, edutainment. We're here to teach and entertain you. But I do find it entertaining to make money, and that's what we're working on doing successfully. Probably more than 20,000 trades now, and it's just me, Gordon Freeman. There's no, huge machine cranking this stuff out. It's literally just me at the computer making decisions based on Archangel Alts. Fantastic system that we have developed. The journey has been amazing. You need to be here on the journey with us. And, we need you. We need the community to be a part of this. It's lonely at the top, man. No, no, just, it's a challenge to accomplish something that, the risk is still exactly the same risk that's there. Once you do something and you do it successfully and you sweat through the paces and make the challenging decisions, and you question yourself when it goes down, and then you succeed when it goes up, and then you take a sigh of relief, and you say, phew, and then you jump right back in. And some people's hubris will be pride, and they'll be like, I got this thing. I'm always right, so I always get this right. Yeah, that's not my personality, and that might be part of why we have been successful. I'm cautious. I don't take a second of success for granted. And I always assume, the second that my model doesn't do exactly what I thought it would do the exact second that it does, I immediately, can sense my humanity. And I remind myself that, I chose this for a reason. It's not like I closed my eyes and circled, the fence and just pointed randomly. And, all of the analysis in the world can't guarantee a position. Pardon me, but, you start off, let's say that you start off with a 50-50 chance of choosing a good entry position, and then you have a 50-50 chance of exiting that position at a profit. So, for every choice that you make, it could go up or go down. And so you look for signs that you're making the right choice or the wrong choice. So something so important to understand that if you're trying to set to where you're making 0.5%, maybe even 1%, over and over and over again so that you can grow steadily and cautiously, then it's so important to understand that it doesn't matter whether it's something small and slow like this that you know exactly what you're doing with, and that's where your pace is, or whether it's from this one over here that's worth $10, or whether it's this one over here that's worth 4 cents, whether it's moving at the speed of light, or whether it's you have to wait for it to correct itself. All of these things that I'm popping up on the screen here. Once you make that successful trade and you have gotten your investment back with a profit, you and the market neither care which kind of position it was that got you there. It's the same amount that you invested. It's the same amount that you're trying to profit from it. And, the result is to get your money back with a profit, So obviously, the sooner that happens, the better. And you need to understand the math quickly enough. So that, when you go into a position, you know exactly how much of that, you measure just how much of that's going to have to be your profit. So, all right. There's no question in my mind that they're shooting for 1,000. And if it does cross that 1,000 line, then this goes gangbusters, and it'll double and quadruple and quadruple, mega. More things good more. BTT has been fluttering back and forth between 19 and 20 for a while now. We'll see whether people that are diehard on that are right or not. Okay, this is kind of sort of getting into a range where I'm wondering whether we can enter safely. I'm so certain that they're shooting for 1,000, but I just don't want to get burned at the top. So I'm watching cautiously. These were 3 sell-offs here, and this is now, 890 to 899 would be a really good position. No real big money on this yet. Very interesting. 9080. Yeah, okay. You go, girl. So here's our 1,000 right there. That's if it goes all the way to 1,000. There's 5 Bitcoin on 1,000. 989.90. Okay, well, oh gosh, yeah, there it goes. Boom. So, that's one of the things you have to have time to think through this stuff. I feel very certain that it's headed up there. This is not my financial advice for you, but I'm just watching what it's doing, and I'm familiar with this kind of thing. I am interested in testing it as low as 877 with all of our current circulation at 877, which would be right around that dip there. So this is, curiosity, cautiously testing, ready, aim, fire in case I need to cancel out of it, because if it drops that quickly, then there's a problem with the stability. Like you can see it's starting to flatline now, and that's partially because we put that position in. Okay, so yeah, yes, it does correct that quickly. I mean, that was almost 2 Bitcoins weighing down something that barely has those number of Bitcoins to it. So it is not, they're kind of boxing it in to make multiple, 2 and 3% positions. Very, very risky. Very risky. Higher risk than I am comfortable with, but it's also at that pace where speed of lightning, heart attack speed is kind of, for whatever reason, my cautious conservative personality does an incredibly good job with the terrifying speed stuff. So I would prefer that not be the case, but it is. So you gotta accept the gifts that you've been given. So CELR has been a really big deal, and it's kind of slowing down. But the thing is that it still has the volume to move. So it's been dropping, but then the buying has been very quick back up, as you can see over here. I was actually interested in going in on this, but then when I saw what RCN was doing, I decided that I needed to switch from just doing some of my own more relaxed trading to get in on this with you guys watching. So not a coincidence, I don't think, that RCN and RDN are both being pumped. I noticed that. Let's see, this one needs, like, if it was at 9,000, you'd need to get it at about 90, 80, 90, 90. So it's already up to 9,200. What does its lifetime look like? So it's easy peasy. It's extremely low compared to where it's been in the past. So the question is, just how much money do you have, and how safe are you circulating and continuing to circulate for a long time? Because this brings us over to the summer. And let's see, it was spiking at 10. It was, there was still room for it to grow there, even despite the Bitcoin Cash hard fork period of time. So let's see. Yeah, it was starting to look like there was going to be a slowdown in the market. And I was like, okay, well, that was fun. We're going to have to wait for Bitcoin to come back down here again. In its volume, it's doing that 120 million, and then falling down to 80 million, and then going back up to 120 million and falling back down. It's kind of becoming a natural cycle, but that's the thing, is that it's not natural. Just like, is that natural? No, of course not. Okay, so risky stuff, but look at this. We're only at 159 BTC 24-hour volume. It's just crazy stuff. So let's actually look at the alphabet, because sometimes these things happen in 3s and 4s and 5s, and somebody's like literally just choosing a part of the alphabet to start pumping. In this case, it actually looks like it's just these two, but that could change at any time. In fact, go ahead and pump REN. Go ahead. Got some in the browser account. Go ahead and pump REQ. I'm ready. I'm ready for you. Come on. You can do it. RCN. So, are we done with this one? I don't think so. I just don't think that they're going to... There's a plan to this. So, isn't that interesting? I was like, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. So, CELR again. Looks like it might be starting to pick up again over here, so let's see. Still pretty risky in its range too, but let's see, 496, 789, 5. It's just within that window. Yeah, it's not enough that I would be willing to risk it right now. Okay, so this is coming back down from the peak. So is it headed downhill, or is it going to be down for 3 and then go back up for another major jump? So if you weren't sure to begin with, and you decided, hey, it's going to keep skyrocketing, and you went in at 939, aren't you glad? Well, okay. Aren't you glad you didn't do that? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm funny. Okay. All right, so here we are again. And every time we're here, the risk is even higher. So we've gone from 300 BTC to 928 BTC 24-hour volume just in the past half hour. Kind of amazing. So, yep, very, very, very high risk position. Let me see where people are putting their coins in. The thing is that it changes so quick, it's almost impossible to analyze at that pace. Still not a lot of money on these positions, so it's lots and lots and lots of small stuff passing through with maximum liquidity. So even if I put in as low as 823, I'm telling you, it can jump down there very quickly. So I'm going to watch and see what it does. 823. We are one of several different Bitcoins. There's one at 26, one at 30, 830. All right, so it looks like it is going to go up again. 877 to 888, I would say. 877. 877, 888. Okay, so we just added value to it, so it helped it to pop up. Don't necessarily want it to come running down to us right now because that can freak people out, and even though it would be beneficial to us, that freak out mode would very possibly trigger a sell-off. So yes, I do know this stuff pretty fast-paced, and I've always said this as like I'd rather be disappointed because I missed out on something and I still have my money than to be disappointed because I wasn't 100% certain about something and took a risk and got stuck and all my money was sitting in there. So, you know, it's measuring that risk is important. All right, so we have this steady decline going on right here, and it's interesting because if it comes to a place where it bottoms out somewhere very specific, that's actually kind of in a comfort zone for me. I feel like there's just a natural flow where things will start to diminish if it's not getting pushed back up, and people will say, "Okay, I'm comfortable with this buy-in point again." So it'll be interesting if that point actually ends up being 823 for real. Okay. So we got the same thing set up there. CLR set up there. And is this the live? No, that's not the live feed. This, I think, is the live control room. Just in case anybody had anything to say over here. Alright, cool. Cool. 857, 858. About 867. 855 to 867 is probably going to happen. So let's see. Now remember, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and edutainment. We find it entertaining to make money. Hope you do too. Come join us. You can mirror our moves. We have a 98.7% accuracy. And as of our one hold that finally cleared, we are now 100% accuracy minus one loss that was forced upon us, thrust upon us by a delisting that took place. So we had one coin that we had to take a loss on because it was going to be delisted from the exchange. We did an excellent job of losing as little as possible, and we made it up in a day and a half. So that was pretty sweet. But yeah, as of our soft launch, we are, other than that, at 100% at this point. So, you know, it's the longer that you have that kind of as a record, the higher the stress goes. You know, for every single position, you know, it's very easy to get really scared that, you know, kind of get inside your brain on things. And so you have to, you know, spend time here to develop a sense for things and not get into your own head. So we're at 993 BTC, 24-hour volume. You can see that it is gradually going down, and it's been sell, buy, sell, buy. So, I mean, this looks like the buy-in to me. 84. I think that seems actually fairly safe. It's just, my goodness, it's so high in comparison that it's been up there over here. So, okay, a lot of buyback in there. 865. Boy, it jumped back up there quickly. So we're over 1,000 BTC now. So people are going to take that as a hint to move quickly. So it's not insane if it became a hold. It might be a while before it came back around, but there's also people that are maybe willing to pump this again to get their money back if they didn't get it quite at the top. So that's always an interesting kind of side to these things. Sometimes when you know that it's a pump going on, you know that they also might be interested in kind of coming back to get what they didn't get the first time. So kind of interesting side. So this pump did not last as long at the top. Again, yes, I am absolutely 100% that these are pumps. Ren getting a little bit of natural movement up there. This is kind of exciting. You know, it's not just the off the charts that we've seen with some of the recent coins. And what I love is that things like Raven and some of the others that have been having, you know, really strong upward movement, they're not just immediately falling back down. You know, there's going to be some downtrend, but not just like, you know, heavy downs. So it's kind of been holding like new positions upwards. And if they can maintain slightly higher new averages, then as we start to enter into a bull run, whenever the case may be, whenever that is. Some of these will be in a really good position. Okay. Hello then. That's usually the sign of a really good buy-in point, and I can't risk forgetting that I was in another position, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. RCN, show me, show me, show me. So it's going back up to 900. So, wow. There's bound to be buy-in on this. 484, 489. 489. Did we get in? I believe we did. 491. Yes, we did. 92. 93. And I think that it just took those. Okay, and these two are worth 900 and 900. So I'm going to leave those there for a second. Looks like it's going to start to trend upwards, I hope. So we bought, just now, we bought all of these were a single position at 489, 90, 91. So that's a little bit under our full amount. 92 is good profit. 93 is good profit. And I think that, let's see. Wow, that's a lot of buying in there. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's exactly the kind of position we're looking for. I like to catch it when it drops and then be able to catch the rise. We'll go over the numbers in a little bit. Looks like there's some anticipation for it to go to 497. So I'm watching cautiously. I don't want to get caught in a trap where it continues down. So I'm not going to overestimate that, assume that it's done with this drop, if that makes sense. So it was valued at 505 before the drop. And this is the second of those two drops. The other one recovered a lot quicker than this one. Wow, what on earth just happened there? Did it just jump up that quickly and grab them? Why, it did. Woohoo! Fantastic. So no more messing around with this. We can enjoy our profits. We're now over 2 again. So, and I intentionally set some aside so that would be the case. So you got to do the right thing. Got to do the right thing. Got to celebrate, ring the cowbell, and say woohoo. Woo! All right. I'm not going to do the one that makes me laugh right now. Okay, so that was nice. Let's see what's happening with Ion real quick. Got your eye on Ion. So CELR, are we in a position where it's going to do the same kind of thing again? I think that was the safety zone. I mean, yes, it could continue up now that people are kicking things up, but I'm not sure that it is worth the risk there. So RCN is actually making it back up. I mean, gosh, it's headed for 1,000. That's what it's planning on doing. That's the idea. I just, every single thing is a risk. And what kind of risks are we willing to take? This looks like it's in a perfect pattern for going back up. So let's see, we are at 92.19, so that would need to be around 93 something. Wow, that's not a lot for it to have to do at all. So what I want to know is whether it can handle that much movement. So 91, 91. As you know, I'm very cautious, especially when I have the time to do so. So 93.93. 93.93. Not much time for talking. 93.11. A little too sporadic. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't go. Okay. RCN. It's getting a little bit of that arch. So, I mean, this is still a little bit falsely inflated. It's got another 100 BTC already. That's just amazing. It's incredible what the economics of this stuff can do. Pretty incredible. I'm really excited to see some of the sub 100s get their spike again. All right, so you made it up to there. We really called this right around the 495 being the peak there. So that was a really good move. Thinking on your feet there, fellas. That's what we got there. So CELR, I need to put that into our group. So hold a minute. Okay. Okay. All right. So we are back at it, looking over here again. Abrupt finish to the pretty music. Steam is, I really like Steam. I like its community. Not sure how to help them to make a connection between liquidity on the market and their belief in its system and it providing a platform for them to earn from. So, boom, 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 change, boom, 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 change. So this is headed back up again. How do I know? Well, I'm not sure they're going to get their 1,000 on that one. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really sure. I want to take a look at what I want to take a look. You'll see. Volume is still holding back. I mean, now that we've seen those 10,000, 13,000, 20,000, I think one of them hit 40,000 at one point. BTC 24-hour volume spikes. We know the money is out there, and that's probably just getting started money. And the thing is that those campaigns were successful. So I would imagine that we're now very likely to see some even larger spikes because they have earned off of the previous ones, unless they're pocketing the change, so we'll see. But yeah, we're entering into a narrower Bollinger Band, and this is actually where it could find some stability. In fact, if it were to come down to about 850, it could make it all the way up to 920, and that's pretty tremendous. So a spread of 300. That's incredible. Incredible. 888 to 898 would be interesting. 888. Just curious. See, it's underneath these two larger positions. So our VWAP is now a white line, just in case you've been following this for a while and you're used to it being the yellow line. It's kind of reversed those, and I don't bother going in and tweaking. I'm used to whatever colors they give me. I'm pretty easy when it comes to that. Yeah, no, gonna test it at 877. It's still a little bit too wacky on the volatility. Interested in trying to get in here, but I'm not interested in making a sacrifice that I would regret. So let's avoid doing that, eh? And the crowd says A. 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it's going to keep climbing a little bit. So 888 would be right about. If it goes down that low, then it might continue down. Let's see. Yeah, larger on 877. There's that 896. Still feeling like it's a little bit too much of a risk. I'm testing it very cautiously. I don't expect this to hold up a really long time. It's not like RCN is the biggest coin in the world. And it's definitely extended beyond its natural current value. So being cautious there. CELR, on the other hand, has been holding up in this range for a little while. And this pattern over here is a slight over-exaggeration of what Bitcoin has done, which is interesting because it wasn't tracking with Bitcoin through here very much, really at all. So it's suddenly synced in with Bitcoin and doing its thing. Quoth the raven nevermore. So, if it drops below the middle, then that'd be interesting. So we're starting to see some uncertainty in here. That's the way that I read that. All right, here comes the acceleration. People are getting a little bit freaked out. They're reading the signals. They're saying, oh, I don't know. Still think it's going to hit 1,000. Not going to take that kind of risk myself. I'm looking for the smaller, safer. Going to stay within that range a little bit. So 875, 885. So I start looking at the movement that it's doing this and how fast it's moving. We talk about kind of moving at the pace, the pulse of things, not just looking at the patterns, but feeling the tempo of things. And it's something that I'll teach much more in our advanced stuff. Make sure and subscribe, ring the bell, comment, thumbs up, come and talk to us. Join us. Click that webinar link. It's not about hype. It's about a very brief window in time in history. And then it closes and you either got in or you didn't. So if you want to learn how to be on the right side of this information and grow your wealth with us, we are not your financial advisors. This is for entertainment, education. We seem to have a knack for this, though, so I think that it's a value there. And we hope that you enjoy and agree as well. So let's see, 55. Contested at 55. We were at 48 over here. It seems to me like it's turning a little bit quicker, but it could still come down to that. So 855. Very cautious. $857. 59. 59. And it looks like it might go ahead and make the curve up. I don't fully trust it. Yeah, it looked like it was doing it there and then So, yep. Once again, so remember you're at 859. That would be like here. Not very far. When I see lots of slow up and down, I often will put in lots of smaller positions in a chain or succession. With this, I'm trying to be very careful because if it went darting down, I may not be able to cancel out of a position if I need to adjust it. So fortunately, the way that this works, it allows me to move at the pace that I'm really comfortable with just lightning speed stuff. All right, so isn't it interesting how even though the BTC is going up, the movement is actually slowing down. So we're still in a down MACD trend, but we're somewhere in this iffy range on the stock RSI. If you don't know what any of this stuff means, we have done an entire introduction series for you to understand the charts, the timeline, the value, the order book, the indicators that we use, volume, MACD, Bollinger, stock RSI, and VWAP. And so just a ridiculous amount of teaching material. So I'm going to try 859 and just see what it does here. 859. There's some people that may not be pleased with me for doing that. But it looks to me like it's not strong enough to continue that cycle that it's doing right now. And it may not even matter. If I can just get in the right amount. Like 877, 888 still looks like a good scenario. 877. Oh, it looks like it's going to. Let's see. I'm not going to leave it there for long. Yeah, I think it's weakening. So what happens when it averages here? That's a long time for uncertainty and then Morse code. We use our own names for stuff around here in these parts. So somebody's waiting it down at 880. It's going to hit 880. I'm almost certain that it will. And then it's going to go zooming down to 874. $880. Not quite yet. Okay, impressive. You know, you can see it's getting boxed in tighter and tighter in that range. Okay, yeah. Okay, I said 874, went down to 873. All right, so we're calling this one right. So I still think, I mean, you know, it's very quick in and out if we do it just right. We're very cautious. 873 would be to 880. $833, 44. OK. So how much lower is it going to go before there's a strong buyback in? Yeah, you can see how quickly the risk can shift. Now, if I had believed that it was going to continue up from there, we could be in real trouble now, and I'm very glad that we didn't make that decision. And let me see something real quick. Boom. All right, I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't put anything that I wasn't remembering in our browser. That would have been silly. Okay, so 1187 BTC 24-hour volume. Okay, that's pretty quick. Really just looking for where it's actually going to hit the bottom and bounce. And I mean, really and truly, it could just keep going down. So be very, very careful. You make your own decisions about where you decide to go in. I'm testing as I go through these. You know, I'm not actually going to enter into this until I see that I'm convinced that it is done falling to a certain rate. So we'll see. Wow, yeah, it might actually be in the 700s when it goes into the next thing. So, yep. It looks like maybe the pump part of the pump is done. So people are selling off pretty quickly. The problem is that it's at a down angle with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gone down another $12 or so. And so, the market is not actually helping it to find a bounce back either. So that's why we test and retest everything. I don't make any assumptions that it's just going to do what it's going to do because, oh, hey, boom. There's really a chance that, I mean, it's so rare that these things fall short of what somebody has designed them to do if they have that much money. If this was genuinely just a pump, regular old pump, not a major whale move, then yeah, that might be the end of it. But I kind of see a mirroring going on. I could see it getting back up to about 910. If it goes up quick enough, it is going to shoot up to the next digit. No guarantees, but that's what it looks like to me. I mean, I don't see it making it that far and only hitting 946. I know I'm not putting my money in trying to ride it up to the 900s. I'm looking for the real low for it to bounce from, and we may have found it. So I'm actually going to test 811 again. And it's almost done with 844. Okay. Okay. Indecisive. Yeah, it doesn't have what it needs to do an up again yet. I don't think we bought into that, no. Okay, that one would have been okay, but I don't want to be the one to be made an example of, so to speak. All right, so this may become like a very temporary point of support. Not holding my breath. Let's see. $900 at 831. 900 at 832. Wow, yeah, it's very touchy. Even though it's added another 50 BTC just while we've been testing this little bit of a range right here. So it ain't done going down. And Bitcoin's still going down. 4084. That's still a pretty strong Bitcoin and a, my goodness, extremely good buy-in point for Bitcoin. So you should get in touch with us if you are considering, you know, if you aren't looking to learn all the skills, but you're fascinated by this stuff and you're interested in looking at this from an investment standpoint. We would only consider that under very specific conditions, but the market is primed for massive acceleration, and we are definitely in the right position to know what to do with that. So we have considered working with just one or two very large investors, just still keeping it very personal and focusing on doing what we do. Just the level of accuracy means that we could scale right into exponential growth. So you should get in touch with us. You can even email me, Gordon at archangelalts.com. But we love using this time as a teaching tool and helping people to figure out how to navigate this stuff on their own. Mirror what we do. I'm trying to talk through it so you understand, like whenever I'm saying that I'm testing something, that doesn't mean that you have to go in on that position. I'm watching to see where the buy-in point is going to be. I like to test the positions that are around this. It lets me see what the tempo of things are, what the liquidity is doing. So by trying to be very clear and talking things out, you can interpret that as you will and decide when you think it's safe to go in yourself. I love this fast pace stuff. It's a little bit crazy. Okay, a bit crazy. So I would have abandoned this one a while back if it wasn't for the fact that people continue to buy in with lots and lots of these smaller positions. Its volume is going up very quickly, which means that people are going to stop watching. People are going to start watching it towards the top of the list. Mouth work with the go forward movements of saying correct things. Yes. Fighting off a little bit of the tire here. Let's see. RDN is going down and consolidating. RCN is not done yet, in my opinion, but we'll see. There's a lot of buy-ins there. Okay, there we go. Good for you. So like 830 to 840 would be really good, but it's still got a downward trajectory. What I'm looking at here is this, if you think of like a rainbow or a slope instead of a spike, that concerns me that it's not done going down, but the buy-ins are telling me that it could be going up. So we're at a good place in the MACD for it to have a good up. Not a fantastic place in the stock RSI, so different people are looking at these patterns, kind of making some of the same decisions that we're trying to make. As you can see, we're still in the top half of the pump. So, I mean, really the safest place will be in the 700s. But we're looking at this as, can I get in and out of positions very, very quickly? And if that is possible to do, then my goodness, would it be worth it? So let's see. What's also difficult about this is that I may not be able to get in on the browser along with this one. So, it's kind of got to balance out the risk of kind of being in two places at once and still live day trade. Yeah, I'm not willing to take that much risk. Got to do this the right way. So 822. Okay, let's see. 822. All right, so we just added volume. We just added liquidity by letting it know that it had what it needed to consolidate a lot of other positions there. So made it tough on ourselves. So you're welcome, guys. Anybody that was looking to get that percent, you're welcome. Looks like it is going to hold in there. So let's try to see if we can get in here. Let's just see if we can get in there. It's all averaging down around 850-ish. I don't want to have to come up to it too terribly much. Yeah, see, it's not quite there yet. Not quite stable enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, it's almost perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it didn't do it. So 1235. A little bit of positive buy-in there. It's pretty wobbly in there. Let's see. It's a really narrow range. 820. See, 831 to 840. That's actually plenty. Let's see. 831. Let's add another 2 Bitcoin to its volume. All right, so it's going to drop a little bit there. Uh-huh. Another 2 BTC. 852. 831. It's really tight in there. Volume shows like it's coming down to there, which is strange because it is adding enough. So that's a little bit more advanced calculations than I know what to look for in that short of a period of time. So I definitely know, I mean, it's come up from 300 to 1238, and we're continuously adding more. So we have weakening through here, I see signs of it being ready to turn. If it does, I'm going to try to get in there very quickly. In fact, 831 is still a really good position to try to get in on. 831 to 840. Yep. Boom. Oh, you're welcome again. We provided exactly what it needed there, so I don't want it to dive down there too quickly. Oh, it's tricky. Oh, it's tricky. Okay. Right there at the convergence of the VWAP and the middle position of the Bollinger Bands. And the stock RSI is high, but we haven't come out of the MACD. So this could be one of those, like, it doesn't really fully go up until it does a double up, but it's so wobbly in there, it's very tough to tell. Very, very tough to tell. Wobbly is the technical term for that, not really. That's not true. 821. Okay. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? There we go, 828. All right, so it's headed for a downturn, and I don't think we went in there. Okay. Decide what you're doing, and I'll decide what I'm doing. 829 to 35, actually not too terribly bad. So is it going to drop from there? It looks like it might. Bitcoin just did. Just in case. All right, so there's a breakout coming. So I can't be the one for it to make that call with. Looks like it is gaining strength. I don't mind spending time testing this out. I'm going to see if anybody has joined us for the morning coffee range here. Let's see. Are we already on that? Yes, so can pop over here. This is what CLR has been doing, so we got in at the perfect time on that one. And question mark ampersand 85 to 90 is there. That actually looks a little bit tall right now for what it's doing. Let's look at our live thing over here. And I haven't missed anything new right now. RCN. Man, look at that. Getting in that range, isn't it? Okay, I'm curious. Let's see, 77. What is the response to 477? It hasn't come down there at that angle yet, so I'm curious what it's got in it. Let's see, I need to refresh that. Meanwhile, I'll look over here. 847. Okay, so yeah, it's doing a breakout upwards. Good for it. It is also taking up some of the bandwidth there in the browser. Come hither. All right, so that's a support at 483, 4567. Yeah, that's a little bit more than I think it's going to do. So that's okay. Don't need to wait around for that right now. Which means that this is, my goodness, good for you. Good for you. So this is that part of the thing that it's going to do, 870. Yes, I do believe that it's going to keep going up. 67 to 77 would be really good. There we go. 8. That should have taken that, right? All right now. 867, 877. Should be in on this, very much so. 867, 877. And we'll check the trade history, make sure. $867, $877. Okay. So now we're going to switch back over to the client, see if we can get in somewhere around the same range. That would be great. So this is definitely where we want to see the turning point. It is now above the top of the Bollinger and above the VWAP. So obviously we want to see it continue upwards. And I don't want to mess with the position that we already have in there as well. It's very important. So must be very cautious here. $67 to $77. Boy, we were almost there, weren't we? And of all the times to wait that long and be so cautious, it's going to play this game with us. Actually, well, let's see. It may have already done its thing. Let's see. These guys have a temper, man, I tell ya. Okay, so 877. Well, I mean, oh my goodness, it was just shy of it. Okay. I understand. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit where it is. 8 to 77, I think, makes sense. We're very low compared to where the previous pattern was. There's a slight uptick. We might be leaving a little bit of potential profit on the table, especially if it's going to go skyrocketing. I'm not sure if I want to mess with that by trying to get in on the other account. Oh, got to watch it very cautiously. Very, very, very jealously guarding our positions as we move along. 860, yes, 860 to 870. In fact, we could push for the same 877 if it does it just right. Okay, there we go. 860 to 870. $871. 2, 3, I always like to get a visual confirmation. 860. Yes. Okay. All right, so now we are in sync with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 4084. It's at $106 million, 24-hour volume. And it just did this. We were not in sync with Bitcoin through any of this at all. We decided to go in, and this really seemed like it was going to be a reversal there. So really hoping that it doesn't go down quickly here. Really don't want to be stuck that high up. Still looking like we've made the right call. It's just a little bit tricky. Now it has decided to sync with Bitcoin through this little rise here and this little thing here. Here's where the reversal needs to happen. All right, you can see that it's starting to speed up a little bit again. It was a little bit touch and go. I know that was because Bitcoin's taken a pretty heavy dive, but this is still kind of in its own up cycle. It's just very thin, and it was thinned out because of that Bitcoin. That's why I try to make these moves so quickly, because things can change so quickly. So Bitcoin is currently at 40.75. So it's gone down $10. That $10 has affected us by about 10 points, actually. So this should be in an up cycle. When it crosses that 850, you notice the acceleration started a little bit a couple of times. So, oh, we're getting so close. Getting so close across at 852. Very good. So if Bitcoin starts reversing, it hit 40.74, 106 million, 24-hour volume. This would be a lot easier if the volume had already dropped into the 90 millions. My goodness, we've been here so many different times. It's just kind of crazy. So I am going to continue kind of testing these lower positions down here. Okay, 751. So we need to see the volume go up. The volume was steadily going up right up until the time that we went in. And we helped. We did help a little bit there. But yeah, Bitcoin has gone down from 40.98 down to 40.77. So it's just, it kind of locked this in to where it was in sync with Bitcoin and stopped doing its own thing. So we definitely need to see it go in the other direction. So you stop that now. You know you got it in you. So looking at this, you know, very strong up, you know, slow and steady, and then harder up, and then a spike, then a harder spike, 3 down, followed immediately by this. It is weakening a little bit in there, but oh my gosh, it's just a very small amount that it needs to do over here for us now. So very small amount. And it's so, oh my goodness, it's just on the line there. We really need for this to go ahead and do what it's going to do. It's kind of like when you, I don't know, like an outdoor wedding, or you have a photo session set up in the outdoors, and then, you know, there's reports of that storm coming. You know, and you've done everything smart and professional to, you know, plan for just the right conditions. I don't know why anybody would have an outdoor wedding. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty and stuff, but I mean, you know, for something that takes that much money and that much planning, yikes, you know. So anyway, but I mean, you know, you had the perfect right conditions, and you want to just go ahead and do the follow through, get it done, and then you go in right when things take a shift. So, you know, I couldn't wait any longer and be any more cautious. And then here we are doing our thing. So very much hopeful that we can go ahead and see this do what we need it to do. All right, so let's see. Let's see how far that's going to go. Hopefully not too much further. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move this stuff out of the way. So it's a little bit disappointing. Very disappointing. So we'll see what the buyback in does there. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so it's the first change that is made in that transition. We're at 1327. There's still plenty of volume increasing at this point, so let's see what people do. Okay, this just became a challenging race here. Okay, so for this account, we went in at 860, is that correct? Yes. So 860, so 865 would be a profit. Not sure whether this part of it helps or not. I think I'm going to say 875 for our top. 875 for the top of that. Yep. So we now have a mirroring. We have 879 and then coming down to 802. My hope is that it comes right back up to 849 pretty quickly. So we've got another 5 BTC. So if people are going to buy in here, that'll be really good. If they do a series of buy-ins, we could see a repeat of this pattern over here. So that would be nice. Okay, that's a good start. Good start. Good. Okay, so I'm thinking of, well, we'll see what it's about to do. Okay. $13.38. So we've added another 10 BTC 24-hour volume. Starting to see it there. So actually turn our volume signaler on. If you look over there, volume is at the very bottom. It shows exactly how many of these things are being bought. So we go over here, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 700,000 of them were bought at that point. So how much is that? 700,000. 700,000. So there were 6 Bitcoins worth were purchased right there. So that's really good. That's a buy-in. All right, so we want to see this move very carefully, very quickly back up to where we were. Obviously, if we had, like 40, 50 other Bitcoins going on, we would be making some entrances in here. But it's beyond our risk level for where our circulation currently is. So stop doing that, Bitcoin. We got a job to do. See, that's what you need to understand here. See, so 1342 BTC 24-hour volume. We've added another 10 BTC. Some of that is a sell-off, so not entirely good news. I'm thinking of consolidating down to 871 because I think that would be a good idea. $871. There. Okay. All right. So now, the downward trend has not stopped. I don't like saying that out loud, but it needs to go ahead and come up on its own. And that's the tricky part. Can it do its own pattern and go ahead and rise back up to where it was? The question is, can it? Yes, it absolutely can. There's no question. It's done 31%. It had done 34, I believe. So as its volume goes up, it will start to get some more attention, which is kind of a good thing. All right, so we're at 40.82. Bitcoin is going back up. It is not coming up as quickly as I would like to see it come up, but it is coming up. So a bit of nervous energy. All right, and let me take a look and see if we're missing anybody in the comments. And trust me, we haven't abandoned you. We're trying to get there. Let's see. I believe it's this one. Yep. Okay, so nothing new in the comments. And this has continued to weaken. So yeah, we're seeing kind of a weakening right now. That doesn't mean that it'll continue that way. 811, my goodness, okay. So we need to see you right here. Hey guys, so I always have like kind of an irony when we hit this point. I'm going to show you what Bitcoin is doing right now. So I find sometimes, if I kind of step back and let things kind of reset, it's always good to take a break with stressful things. So 4074 to 4088, we're kind of back to where that cycle began, where we got in sync with Bitcoin, but then we haven't really resynced with Bitcoin for the up. So there's the irony. It's like the thing that brought it down is now not really helping with the up. So, we'll see whether it is able to start getting its own resurgence. But the volume is continuing to go up. The trading is continuing. It looks pretty low, pretty light, but I think that this is usually where we will see a spike. So that is kind of my hope, is that we now see what should have happened over here, see it go ahead and happen. We'll see a reversal of this down here. See it come back up to the 850 range, and all of this is going to accelerate and give a cue to the people who are selling out that it's a new buy-in point, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully it's not weighted too far down, because it's a pretty far down that it can go. We don't want to see that happen. So you can see in the progression of its time here on Binance. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this one. Could not have picked a worse time to list on Binance. Poor guys. I'm sure that it was scheduled well ahead of time, and it was a really big deal to them. But of course, I know nothing about this project right now other than its movement on the market. So whatever fundamental analysis, it's been a while. So it initially listed, looks like it started around 1700. So it began double. It came up to, let's say, 3400. And then it peaked at 3600. And then, yes, amazing. They came right in at the hard fork. So, I mean, they probably could have sustained this even longer. So throughout the, let's see, that was 3. Actually, that's not the hard fork. I apologize. Yeah, I was in, that was at 2017. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, scratch that about the hard fork. That was at the wrong place. I apologize. So this is going to be it over here, if I'm guessing right. Let's see. Nope, you're not guessing right at all. Okay. Stop. Reset. Come on, you can get to a 2 hour. There you go. All right, so let's find this place in its universe here. At first I didn't even care, but now I actually care where the hard fork actually is. So back here, it had been as low as 280. My goodness, so it was one of those 90%ers that went all the way down, 90%. Come on, this is going to be a result from the hard fork, so now I really do care where it was. So this is at the beginning of the year. $362. So we're going to need 4 hours to get there effectively. Here we go. All right, so isn't that interesting? Yeah, just before the hard fork, it had actually had a spike, and then the second spike was in the 650 range, and it was holding, just shy, yeah, right around 600. And the hard fork brought it all the way down to what, the 3s? My goodness, 326. So even then, it had a peak there. So we would have had, let's see, let's just say 330 to 500. So that would have been 170 up from 600. So 770 up. So that peak would have been around 770 if that were at a different time. So all the way through here, through the 300s. So we have the 4 to 6 over there. So its overall average, it's spent a lot of time lower. It's surpassed this guy over here, so that's really good. That's really good, actually. And it's almost within our range of what it did. So we're going to look at the 1 day again. So we have a little bit of a repeat of what we had here and here. So we really need to see it count for this spike, and it's looking like, well, we'll see. We'll see. It's at 1395. So we're going to watch the volume on that. Bitcoin is coming back up to 4089, and its volume has gone down to 104 million. All of those things should actually be working to our advantage. Should be. So we'll see. So this was month 5. So all of this being, the reason that we lean towards being very cautious, even in caution, it's possible to get tricked up there towards the top, but all of the signs are showing that it is time for it to rebound. So looks really good at the 15-minute, and at the 15-minute, we're literally only talking, getting up to about there. So, I don't like being on the top half of the spike like that. It's the unfortunate shift that happens when Bitcoin does its thing. I have a feeling that, this is, conjecture way too early in the spike process. It just did not seem to me like it has the makings of a regular pump. But, now it is showing some of those signs, but I really think only because of Bitcoin's coming down in the midst of our position. So Bitcoin is still coming down in volume, so I don't think it'll be long before it crosses that 90 million mark. We're still holding at 1395 on RCN's volume, so it'll also be interesting to see. Hopefully this doesn't have to drag into 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'd be good for it to go ahead and do its thing. So we're at 1396. That's really good. Okay, good. 1398. So this is what we're expecting. This is it picking up steam here. So that's good. 1398. Okay, so we're at 1400, 24-hour volume now. Looks like it's still continuing upwards. That's really good. Yep, this is what we needed to see the first time that it had that pattern. Very good. And it's interesting because it is now not in sync with Bitcoin again. So, it seems like it's kind of coming into its own a little bit here. Very good. All right, still looking pretty good for headed in the right direction for its recovery here. So obviously we like to do the faster version of this, but if it's got to be the slower version, then go ahead and keep correcting. We're going to meet it right around here, around 37 instead of 50 the last time. So our trajectory that we're hoping for is that it can just really accelerate 1418. Yeah, I mean, it might even head for 880, and we will gladly take our 70s instead of 80s. Playing it fast and loose up here at the top. Okay, so it looks like we're seeing some progress here. So we're still kind of consolidating right around where I was saying it looks like it's going to start coming to a breakout range right around 837-ish. My hope is that we see an acceleration as it's getting to that point. 1423 is up another 5 or 6 BTC, so that's good. So we need to see it get back up to the 850 range, and then it should accelerate. So hopefully it can do it this cycle. It's got time to do it. So we shall see. $14.24. Looks like REP is picking up some volume and value over there. It's gone up about not quite 10%. Steam still struggling. Love you guys. The community are just a really neat group of people. Let's see what's happening on the 24-hour change. So we're at the top of the list as far as that goes in our favorites. Good job, fuel. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, it's actually at the top of the list, So this should be able to do its thing. Come on. Come on, you can do it. If you just try. Nope, it's not a real song. Might be a real song. I don't know. Never heard it myself, but we've already cleared all of our fuel in the browser. I believe we have a 375 that we're looking to sell. I'm sorry, in the client. In the browser, I believe we have a 375 to sell, and several that are higher than that. The volume's picking up here too, so I'm trying to kind of get myself in a pattern right now to be able to trade through the wee hours into the morning slot. It's just always very difficult to tell which times it's going to slow down as that goes forward, and which times it's going to speed up as it goes forward. So continue doing exactly that, RCN. That is the idea. We're here for you. I think the volume is up on S&T. I can't remember exactly where it started when we were watching it. Wow, QKC is having a fun roller coaster. So that actually would, well, no, that's not quite enough anyway, so that's fine. So I like to look towards the other extreme too, because like for instance, CLR, it being down negative 13% is really no big deal when it was up, 30, 40%. So that ain't no thing, but it seems like it's got enough volume to keep things rolling. It's really amazing right now. It seems to take more volume to do what used to be, kind of extreme moves. Golly, TNT's only got 71 BTC 24-hour volume. So some of the low volume stuff is kind of kicking in there. So we need to see 11 points up on Encash. We cleared all of our lower stuff. We intentionally did long positions there just whenever it happened. So we're happy to see some of those do what they were going to do. Man, it is just hovering in there, isn't it? So Bitcoin is kind of hovering in its range that it's doing right now too. You don't have to make it all the way back up to 900, but a lot of people would be happy if you would. So there's probably some pretty extreme. Well, we can't really see very far beyond where ours are. Oh, okay. So 2 Bitcoin looking to sell there, 1 and 1. I'm really surprised there's not bigger stuff up there. Interesting. Okay. I bet out of range there's some bigger stuff though. Out of range meaning that, you know, can't see it right now just from where the order book is. 1 Bitcoin at 730, 725, 735, 2, 1, 1 there. Okay. Oh goodness. They're playing a game there. They're just trying to drive the price down. Okay. Popping all over the place there. There was 7 Bitcoin up here, and then they repositioned some of it down here, so they got some to work with. I'll see the game we're playing. See, that's when I talk about, you know, that I like testing positions, but I don't. I intentionally avoid doing anything that I think is going to cause harm to other people's positions. I do not like to, you know, intentionally weigh something down or trick it into doing something that's going to mess people up. So, unfortunately, you know, people that have more Bitcoins than we do will often spread around those Bitcoins to do just that, to kind of try to make it pop a certain way that is not necessarily beneficial to the other people in the arena, so to speak. So we got a pop going here with Via. Via con Dios, my crypto coin, stuff, things, etc., etc., etc. So I made it to 368. Am I right in remembering that as 375 on fuel? I believe that is the case. $375. So it's not a very large position. Then we have these set up for much higher. Just basically in positioning some of ours that we knew we would be holding for a little while. Here I can show you, you know, how that decision was made. So if you can see over here, come all the way up to even back here, about 11 months, 10 months, 11 months back, we're still in the 800s. So you come to here, and in June of 2018, it was very easily able to handle that price. So look at the volume spike over here. We start to see this rise happening. So I believe that some of our longer holds will probably be able to clear. Oh, it shouldn't be too terribly long. You know, it might be a couple months, but hopefully not. But it'd be really great at this round that we went ahead and sold that one. That would be really cool. Very much so. All right, RCN, it's time for you to do your thing. Now is the time. 1434. So you've got the volume to do it, so go ahead. This is your time. This is your chance. This is your thing. Don't rip your pants. Okay, that's an incredibly clever rhyme. In case you were wondering what that was. Wabi's heading up again. I love that. Bam. Okay. Wow. Crazy. All right, so what's it going to take, RCN? What's going to make you happy? So it broke the top of the Bollinger there. It's really not that much that it's got to do, but it's got to do it. You know, it needs to not come back down to, you know, okay, boom, boom, boom. That was a really strong spike up there. That was really fun. 925. It just really seems like it's going to break that 890 again. So this real weakening, this happened in sync with Bitcoin, and then it came back out of sync to do its own thing. Really strange kind of patterns going on there, but we look at where it's come from, and the likelihood that we don't see it here again sometime in the near future, pretty low. I mean, we have a very good chance of it clearing. Looking back to, I mean, you know, yes, that does cover a span of time. But this is a stronger market position than back here when it was in the about 840. Yeah, this really shouldn't have any problem doing this. Really shouldn't. So let's watch this entertaining thing happening over here. Wow. So I guess the bad timing there is that this could take away some volume from what we're already accomplishing right now. So we would hope for that not to be the case. We'll just add to the optimism, right? Yes. It's really seeming more and more like we have seen the bottom of the market and that we are coming up from there. Okay. Keep going up. That's what you want to do. Come on. Okay. You just need a little convincing. I understand. I understand. It's time to do the next one, my friend. You can do it. Okay, that's where we can start to see the pattern. Looks correct at the 30-minute. Don't like it at the 15-minute. It's so weird how very, very, very often the things that end up... Here, I'm going to move the mic closer here. It's very interesting how very often the things that I watch for patterns in, and then we go through this, okay, it's going to take longer than what I first thought it would look like it needed to do, will very often look correct at several of the longer views, and then not at all right at either 30-minute or 50-minute, but then it'll come back into focus and look exactly right at the 5 or the 3 or the 1. So you can see right here exactly where that downturn happened. I mean, this, I could see it doing that and then slightly up and slightly up. It was absolutely headed back towards 900 again. No question in my mind. Looks like it's going to have to do a little bit more of this pattern. So I would rather it not have to do that. 1443 BTC 24-hour volume. I mean, that's got to support this moving forward soon. So, dome. Oh, no. This would be a great time, like about 5 minutes from now, for it to wake back up, so to speak. So Wabi's going to continue doing its thing. That's pretty cool. Still at 354. Interesting. Kind of hovering in a similar pattern to what we're doing with RCN. You heard me. I know you're listening. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I don't like this downward angle. So if it stops at 807, we're good. So you should stop at 807. You really should. And what do we go in here? 867. 867. 877. Let's see, DNT. We have our slightly higher positions. Earlier, higher, 577. Okay. So that was kind of a heavy drop there. After we cleared a bunch. ADA is still in the 1700s, so that's good. And is anybody around asking questions? We'll see. Hey! Hi, Marson K. Sorry, I'm just now seeing your writing there, so if you're still around, say hi. Thank you for the information. Very cool. I appreciate your saying that. That's awesome. So yeah, I try to remember to check these more often. Things get pretty heated, pretty intense. Pretty intense around here. Damn parts. That's great. Always great to hear from somebody new. It's awesome to have. Very nice. Okay, good. Good. This is the idea. And it's happening quicker. Good. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. See, this is kind of the deceleration, or, yeah, the reduction. And it seems like it is time. I was saying about 5 minutes from now, it'd be really cool for it to do this. So, 1445 BTC 24-hour volume. We need to see it come up about 10 BTC in a very short time. So 1445. And I don't want to drive myself nuts watching that. So 1720 on ADA. So it's probably consolidating a little bit towards that value right about there. Right about, yeah, about 1720, 22. And CLR is coming up again, I believe. Yep, just a little bit. In fact, that was a good little bit there. That's a really good pattern right there. And I'm surprised that it tapped out. Oh, it was like totally on its way right there. So we can see a bit of a support line there. It's kind of sketchy at best, but can definitely see about an 805 support line. It's time for a breakout. Break up very quickly. Strong. Show your support for Archangel Alts. Break up. Hi-tee-hoo. You can do it, I believe in you. You do this, yes. So CLR, huh? Yep. RCN still at the top, good. Fuel making its way to the top again. Isn't that interesting? Rep. Well, okay. So we had RCN, RDN, and REP. We just wanted to make sure the R's are covered. The R's have it. REQ. Okay. Volume is still pretty low overall, and it's coming down. But we should see RCN with its volume headed up. And Raven is recovering some. Pretty cool. It could have continued to slow down there. So why don't, okay, there it is. Bitcoin is dropping pretty quickly in its volume while still holding. It's headed towards 4,100 again. It's at 4,095, and it is at $94,500,000 24-hour volume. So that's pretty interesting. It looks like it's still decelerating, slowing down there. So if we can see the 1446 and RCN's volume continued to head up, then that would be beneficial. This is kind of a good time while Bitcoins is going down. If it can go up, then we could see what we need to see happen. Oh, 1447. So now we've got two windows of it going. Isn't that crazy? Right there. Right about there. All right now. Come on. Come on. Lots of buying in at 817. That's good. ADA is a little bit up. CELR is a little bit up. IOST is up some more. NEO is up. OMG. Fuel is still headed up. That's really cool. Almost makes me want to go in. That's pretty high up there. So it might be, well, we'll see how fast it does that. We might try to get a little bit more out of this. I mean, only, if I move it to 378, then that would be like almost getting an extra percent. Of course, it's not a massive position, so I'm not sure. It's not worth taking a risk. We'll see. RCN looks like it's going to need to go through a narrow Bollinger here. Just don't want it to do one of those massive drops. That would be awful. So let's not focus on that. Please, universe, give me a huge spike upwards. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Prayer, good. Okay, so we see a slightly weaker slope with the second one. A little bit reminiscent of that kind of rainbow shape. And it is doing a little bit of Bitcoin's thing. We're actually seeing a deceleration, I believe is the word. Things are ramping down instead of ramping up. I would prefer that we see an accelerating growth here. 1450, so the volume continues to be good. This is very often where we would see a reversal in the volume and start seeing a spike upwards. So definitely hoping, since it didn't do the immediate, the reason we were in here to begin with, oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's wild. You can see exactly where Bitcoin was doing just exactly the wrong thing at exactly the wrong time to kind of bring it down just a hair. And that's okay. $14.50 still. So the longer that it takes for it to start speeding up, the trickier it gets. So there's a big buy-in at 809. That's kind of rare right now. All right, let's see if this is going to break up now. $14.51. So I always like to leave these sessions on a high note. And, I can't force the market to say, well, okay, I know you got to go, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this for you. That would be really nice if it would do that. But since I can't count on it doing that for us, think that I'm going to have to go ahead and give an update on this later. So, because it's got to come up to there, which really isn't much. I could do it in a heartbeat. And it is at the top of the list. And it is gaining more volume, which is good. All these things are good. It's good, it's good. So maybe this is the pattern. 1452. So we'll see what it's able to do right here. Oh, okay, come on. You can do this. Oh, I'm trying to give it an opportunity to do its thing. It's still coming up in volume, which is amazing for it to be doing as little as it is and still have another 2 BTC in there. It's just, it's your time. It's your time to thrive. Come on. Nice. Very similar spikes in fuel and ion. That's very interesting. Because I think a lot of things are doing that right now, but not REQ. Okay. Oh, okay. So this might be one of those things where if I don't stop watching it, then it can't do its thing. Oh, that Murphy and his laws, and who put those laws into existence. What crazy person would listen to somebody like that? So sadistic. 1454, 1455, and our volume up here. 1456. And I was saying things. I was just saying that this is the rate of acceleration we're looking for. So not just the volume working in our favor, but it's actually starting to speed up. That's the more important thing. So here we go. Here we go. All right. So there's a pickup there. So the real crossover is going to be here at 851. So if it can make it beyond that, it should be able to continue to do its own pattern and stop trying to be synced to Bitcoin. And if it does that, then that'll be good. So far, so good. Don't get back down to those 820s. Come on, ignore those. Just keep going up. There we go. That's what we're talking about. 1466, 24-hour BTC volume in BTC. Come on, you can do this. You can trade if you want to. You can leave. Because we don't trade and everybody trade. No trade, I mean. We can trade. We can trade. Yeah, I haven't worked that one out yet. A little bit silly. Just a little bit, though. The safety dance. It's all about safety. Good stuff. Okay, let's hit 50. 1470 BTC 24-hour volume. Very good. If it had started in around that 2000 BTC 24-hour volume, then this would not take nearly as long. Not just because of it being more, but it being faster. So do not wait around for Bitcoin to help boost you up. Go ahead and do a third big jump. Third big jump. It's like plants. If you talk to them, they will grow. Unless you talk to them mean. So don't talk to your trades mean. Encourage them. Yes, I am joking, but kind of. Alright, so this is pretty critical here. Okay. Alright, so there's the slightly higher pattern it wasn't able to do the last time. It looks like it's going to be able to do it now. So I'm really surprised that there isn't as a lot more of a rally happening here, but this looks like it's going to be its bounce off point. So not trying to read anything into it, that's what I see there, so I'm calling it. So far it's continuing to do what we're hoping. Can now see the upward trend in the Bollinger Band, so that's good. Alright, that was an important move right there. Good. Okay. This is the uptrend we're looking for. You can see over here, it got about to 832. So we have the base here, the base here, the base here. Everything is looking like it's going to start doing the pattern that we need it to do. I don't like that MACD is already showing the shape, but we've seen double ups happen all the time. So this is that time. Yeah, this is more than just repeating the pattern slightly higher. This should actually be the up. So, and actually, if anybody is new on this, not that I'm giving any financial advice, but it's actually a good buy-in point for that one. So I go a little bit nuts watching it too long. Okay, so CELR will be coming up again. That's good. I mean, it doesn't affect us right now, but it's good for it as far as the market goes. Fuel would love for it to go ahead and do the 375. That would be really cool. All right, here we go. Here we go. 1479, 1480. Okay, good. We're speeding up at just the right time. Guys, get in here. Come on. You can do your thing. 1480 still. Wow. Isn't that interesting? People are doing so many small orders on this one. It's very strange. All we need is about a 5-minute trend here to finish it out, and it'll be done. Yep. Okay, here we go. Yep. Yep. So there we go. That's where it's got to go now. Right about there. All right, so big indecisive point because it can't decide whether it can break through 850. My goodness. My goodness gracious. So last one is over here from about 7:30 to 8. This one from about 8:21. Yeah, I think that we are going to go ahead and call it here. Consider this an end to the current trade live day trading session. Obviously, we're going to continue to hold this until it clears. And it looks like it's going to be another cycle, and I don't have that other cycle in me for now. So, yeah, things are kind of going through a similar cycle with each other there and there. So, my goodness, RCN, you are a clever, clever one. So, let's hope that it can do the rest of the way up here. It really looks like it should be able to. Right about there. Yep. So, thank you so much for watching Archangel Alts, Gordon Freeman. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, thumbs up, comment. Come join us for the live webinar and ask any questions that you got for us. We look forward to having you come join our group, okay? The community is missing your voice. You are the thing that's missing, so come join us. All right, guys. For now, Archangel Alts out.